Welcome to the Mac Power Users. I'm David Sparks and joined by Mr. Stephen Robles. How are you today, Mr. Stephen?
I'm doing really well, David. Excited to talk. How you doing? How you doing?
The show is going to be so fun. This is a show where everybody needs to lock their wallet in a drawer.
That's right.
We thought it'd be fun to talk about tangential gadgets, and Stephen's relatively new to the show, and occasionally during the show he shoots one off. It's like, oh yeah, and I got this little thing that does this thing. I'm like, what? I want to hear about that. And so I thought this is a show we're gonna catalog the tangential gadgets of Stephen Robles Studios. Today I'm gonna throw in a few. If you've been listening to this show, you kind of know the stuff I have, but there's a couple things in here that's changed or something I want to mention. But Stephen, we're gonna look through your drawers today.
I'm excited. I'm a big MagSafe nerd and accessory nerd. And just in case anybody's wondering, because this is the creator in me, none of the links in the show notes will be affiliate links. We don't earn anything if you buy anything. You don't have to buy anything.
Yeah.
But if you like the little MagSafe things I talk about, they're down there.
Yeah, and we got some cool stuff. And then the more power users for the ad-free extended version for the folks that are helping us keep the lights on. We're going to do something kind of weird. We're going to look at the rejects. We're going to look at the things that we either never bought or things that we have put on our not allowed to buy list. And that's actually going to be really fun, too. So I'm looking forward to that.
That is fun. And an exciting couple announcements. One, we had our bonus episode come out in the Relay feed.
Yeah.
It's that monthly special. Super fun episode. We did a app productivity draft. And I listened back, David, to the whole thing. It was actually pretty hilarious.
My instructions to Jim were perform no edits. Just let it rip. And that's what you got.
And it is super fun. So you can any Relay member can listen to that in the Relay member feed. And then we created an Instagram account for Mac Power users. We're going to be sharing clips over there because the world is clipping. There's just clips everywhere. And so we wanted to at least be out there. So at Mac Power Users is that Instagram account, and we'll link that below as well. And you'll see little 60-second clips of me and David making faces at each other when we say stuff we don't agree with.
That'll be fun. It's funny, Stephen. I am doing the same thing with MacSparky. After 20 years, I'm finally getting on Instagram and just taking some clips from my stuff and putting it up there too. So look at MacSparky when you sign up for Mac Power Users too.
There you go. We'll do it. And
Mr. Robles is an institution over there already. Hey.
Well, there's been some tools. We're actually going to nerd out. We're recording our next monthly bonus episode tomorrow as we record this. And we're going to talk about some production gear and nerd out there. And, Riverside actually added some features and made some changes. Maybe we'll talk about that too, because it's been interesting. But I stayed up until 2 a.m. last night, David, building something, and I think you might like it.
Oh, man.
So I want to share it with you.
Put in the outline circle shortcuts. Well, I'm in circle, so show me your shortcuts.
You recently shared, moved to your community to Circle. I use that for my shortcuts community. And one of the things, I don't know if you're like this, David, but when I go into my community, which I love interacting with people there, but I can't go in there, see notification badges everywhere, and just leave.
Yeah.
I get sucked in.
Yeah.
And so I need to have I need to sit down and dedicate time to going into the community and interacting. But there's other times where I need to just post something into Circle, like I do a shortcut of the week every week. I want to be able to send it in there without actually opening myself up to all the badges and notifications.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to create shortcuts that use the Circle API to post into different spaces. And I want to be able to do links and images and embed videos. And I figured it all out last night, David. I was using Claude Fable, using all the tokens to help me figure out this API key.
Yeah.
And now I have a bunch of shortcuts where I can post to my different spaces from shortcuts directly into Circle. It has the nice embeds if it's a video. It does the images. And I'll send them to you if you want. But they're going to be really useful for me.
Yeah, that's cool. I think I set a record at Circle with using API tokens, because we brought over 6,000 people in.
That's awesome, though.
A bunch of them had different field guides, and we had to provision them. And I was just burning through all these tokens, and I called them up, and they were nice enough to give me some extra for the first few months for this transition.
Okay.
But between their API and their MCP, I am automating the heck out of Circle. But my automation is largely Keyboard Maestro and Claude Cowork based. I'm not doing much on mobile with it, So I'm very curious to see what you're doing with
and
shortcuts.
The one use case that was really helpful for me is I have a shortcuts database space for my membership, and I post all the new shortcuts that I do on YouTube in
Yeah.
that space. So there'll be like 20 to 30 new shortcuts and shortcut links. And
Yeah.
I create a post for each one, which is really laborious.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make a shortcut where I could just have a bunch on my clipboard and it runs a repeat with each action. And it was able to just create a post for each one, has the shortcut link with the YouTube video link, and it does it in like 5 seconds as opposed to 30 minutes of copy and pasting and creating these new posts. So it was worthwhile for me. And if anybody else is interested in circle shortcuts, let me know. But I'll share them with you, David, if you want.
Yeah. I am the API and MCP allow me to do that very fast from a Mac, but
Right.
I haven't really explored it on mobile. So there you go.
Yeah, I guess it's because shortcuts is just the language I speak most fluently.
Sure.
That I always go for like the solution there before anywhere else. And
Shortcuts is your hammer. Every automation is a nail, right?
That's
Something like that.
that'd be a good title. Shortcuts is my hammer. That's
Yeah,
it.
there you
That's
go.
it. Well, speaking of other hammers and accessories, let's talk about stuff. Stuff
Yeah.
and things, David.
Yeah, I want to hear about Steven's stuff.
I got lots of stuff. I have a lot of stuff to show and tell, and we'll put links in the show notes for everyone listening. But
Yeah.
let's talk about like bags and charging stuff because you've switched your computing paradigm
Yes,
to
I
a
did.
MacBook Pro.
Yeah.
And I want to know, like, what do you do? What do you use around town when got your MacBook?
Well, I mean, it doesn't go around town with me too much,
Okay.
I tunnel into it usually from an iPad if I'm just out around town. But when we went on vacation and I was doing this whole circle thing, I brought the big boy with me, and it was great. And I just kept it running in the hotel room. My bag of choice is and I was kind of happy to see you also use this company, SF Bags, or what's their
Waterfield is the
Waterfield.
brand.
Yeah, I have been a fan of them for years. I always felt like if Indiana Jones had a computer bag, he'd buy it from them. So that's the one I want. And so I've got one of their bags. They've got one right now called the Tech. What's it called?
Folio.
The Tech backpack. The Tech Folio backpack. And I love this bag. And I wear a backpack. I don't do the thing over the shoulder. You get to a certain age, you want to balance the weight. So I just wear a backpack. But this one's great. The way it unzips, you can get to the whole thing very easily. It travels really well. It was really well thought out for somebody who's carrying a computer. Holds a 16-inch MacBook Pro, no problem. And that's my bag.
I love Waterfield stuff, and I've used a ton of their bags, and so I'm in the same camp. But I'm going to tell you a different one, and they've never sponsored me. They don't even have an affiliate program. I just love their messenger bag. This is the Shinjuku messenger bag, and I love it because there's a compact size that's super small, and it can still fit a 13-inch iPad Pro with a Magic Keyboard. And I am still when I go traveling to a conference or whatever, like a dub, I use the full-on backpack with 2 straps. But around town, if I'm taking my kids to a rehearsal and I'm going to be sitting in an auditorium doing something, I take this. I put the iPad in a little messenger bag. I put a little charging power bank and everything, and I love this thing. So that's my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, see that's the problem with Waterfield. Every bag I look at, I'm like, maybe I need one of these.
We'll have to go in our. I'm going to add something to our rejects thing for our more power users because I just remembered something I've told myself I can't buy every bag, and there's one I've been eyeing for months. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
But what do you now that you have the laptop though? So like when you traveled recently.
Yeah.
Do you bring a hub with you because you have this huge CalDigit hub on your desk?
Yeah.
Do you have any kind of hub when you travel?
I have a power supply, power bank that you plug in, and it's got 3 or 4 plugs in it. But when I travel, I don't bring all the stuff, so I don't.
And you don't need any additional ports when you travel, like
No, I don't.
USB.
I
Okay.
barely use any. I bring those little Hollyland mics with me, so I've got a remote microphone. But I don't have a lot of stuff I plug in. We're going to talk later about the beautiful travel router, and that is something I bring with me. But I don't need all of the ports when I travel.
I still, like when I went to Dub, I still have my MacBook Air.
Yeah.
And so there's only 2 USB-C ports plus the MagSafe charging.
Yeah.
So I still bring a USB-C hub, but I've been using the same Anker 7-in-1 hub for like 10 years maybe.
Is that the skinny one? That's like a little stick.
No, those are really cool. This one has a cable on the end of it, but it's because it has an Ethernet jack on the end as well. That's why I go for this one. And it's got the SD card slots. Oh, yeah, there you go. You got it right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the one I've used for years and years, and it's never gone bad. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's
I think
perfect.
I have the same one. It's a USB-C, and it's got all the stuff you want on it. It's even got Ethernet, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, and that's yeah.
I will just say generally at the top of the show, if Anchor makes a version of something, that's probably what I'll buy.
Yeah.
And I don't know that they're the best, but they've been very reliable for me over the years. And I feel like a lot of the like gizmo stuff you can buy on Amazon is not great and sometimes dangerous. And I don't want to plug in stuff from that, was just, pooped out of a factory into my $7,000 laptop.
Right. Well, for sure. And to your point, there's a lot of brands that I don't mess with, but I've found a couple others besides Anchor we'll get to in a minute.
Yeah, I'd like to hear about that because right now I just tell everybody Anchor. And it's funny when I look through Amazon, if I look for the word Anchor, it's kind of scary.
Right. Yeah. It's I have a lot of Anchor stuff around me too. One other accessory I do want to talk about, I use my Magic Keyboard with my iPad at home and if I'm around town, but when I'm traveling, I have my MacBook Air, and so to have the Magic Keyboard feels moot, with the iPad as well. It's like having two laptops.
Yeah.
So when I travel, I use this thing. It's the dynamic Moft folio case for iPad, and the reason why I like it is because it kind of folds in this origami fashion.
Yeah.
So you can actually elevate the iPad if you're like watching something. You can bend it so you kind of have a writing surface, which when I edit podcasts, I do that with Apple Pencil. And so I really love this folio case, and it's my iPad travel companion.
Okay, so my travel keyboard, I don't even know that it has a name, but I got it off Amazon. It's a little folding keyboard.
Oh my goodness! It's like it's a different shape. It's like a butterfly.
Yeah, because it brings wings to my ideas, Stephen.
Oh my! I didn't know we were getting into poetry.
Yeah, but it's got 3 Bluetooth radios in it. It can fit in the pocket of a decent sized pair of travel pants, but it's very low weight. And I've done several trips where I don't even bring the iPad. I just bring that little keyboard and my iPhone, and off I go. And I can do quite a bit with it.
I've been at a couple conferences, and one in particular, I saw someone had like the Logitech Bluetooth keyboard that has this little like trough at the top. Yeah. And he put his iPhone in that trough and was just typing away like he was working on his iPhone. And I was like, that's next level.
Yeah.
That's next level.
That's what makes me think about the folding iPhone. Like because of the way I use an iPad, I'm thinking, I wonder if I could go iPad less with a folding iPhone that I could turn into a bigger screen when I needed,
All the rumors are pointing towards that folding iPhone. There was the iOS 27 Beta 4. There was code found talking about dual batteries and a thing. So we'll see. We'll see very soon.
All right.
Now, in addition to AirTags, I like having Find My everywhere in everything. And so I want to talk about some like non-AirTag Find My stuff.
Yeah.
I was curious if you had any of the Find My cards, like the Nomad Find My card.
Yeah, I bought a couple of years ago the Chipolo card.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because their deal is it does not have a replaceable battery, but they give you a 50% discount on after you buy it, after like 2 years after you bought it, so you can get another one.
Right.
And it has been solid. I mean, I don't know if the Nomad one, like Nomad's another brand I really trust. Maybe theirs is better. But the Chipolo card did its thing. I mean, right after I bought it, we went somewhere and my wallet and bag got left somewhere. And I mean, it looked in the Chipolo card, rang in, and I went and picked. It was right there, and it was really great. And it's fine, but I'm about to hit my 2 years on it. I got my coupon from them already to replace it, and I don't know if that's the one I'll replace it with. But a Find My credit card device for anybody that's carrying a wallet is, I think, a really good idea.
Yeah, this one. So Chipolo now has a rechargeable card, and that was the main distinction with the Nomad when it came out versus the Chipolos. Is Nomad was rechargeable wirelessly, but now all the brands kind of have that. So if you get either of these cards now, you can charge it just by throwing it on like a MagSafe charger or a regular Qi charger, and so no more replacing batteries or the whole cards. And love these things. Even if you're just going to stick these in like a bag, you know, you could do that too. I use the AirTags in bags because then you get the precision Find My where the arrow actually shows on screen. I prefer that. And David, have you ever seen the 10-year AirTag case from
Yeah.
like Elevation?
Yeah. Yeah.
I use that, which is basically a plastic enclosure that you can put two AA batteries in, and then you put the AirTag in this weird configuration. Like you take the back off the AirTag and you put it in this case, and it supposedly is a 10-year battery life because it's now the two AA's instead of a coin battery.
Yeah.
You can get a 4-pack of these for like $35, and this is what I do for like luggage and backpacks. This way, AirTag batteries last pretty long. They've gone 2+ years for me.
Yeah.
But this, I'm like, I'll have to think about it for a decade. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
that.
I worry about like the battery leaking or something. I looked at those, but I couldn't really justify it, and I don't travel enough that it's not that big of a deal for me just to check the battery before we leave. But
That's true.
I get it.
Yeah.
I got a Peak Design suitcase, and they made this rolling suitcase. It's really nice, and they actually have a secret AirTag pocket in it, which is kind of awesome.
I see that more and more. Like bags will advertise like AirTag pocket.
Yeah.
And that's pretty fun. Now this next one, I don't know if you've heard of. I got this recently from my mom because she wears glasses for distance, but she doesn't wear them all the time. So they're in and out of her glasses case. And we were at a concert a few months ago, and she left them in the auditorium and subsequently lost them. And so Satechi actually makes an eyeglasses case with Find My built in.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's also rechargeable wirelessly. So you can just put it on a Qi charger and it'll recharge the entire case. It can make a sound like a Find My device. And you put your glasses in there, and this way that's in your Find My network too. And so she's been using that. Really likes it.
Nice. Yeah. I love the third-party Find My stuff. And give me all the Find My stuff. I want all the Find My stuff.
All the Find My stuff. And the last one I'll mention, another one from Moft. I use their MagSafe wallet that has Find My. So this little 2-card MagSafe wallet is always on the back of my phone. I use it as like a grip, and so you can hold it with one hand, and it holds 2 cards and has Find My that makes a sound. And so you can get Find My in a lot of third-party accessories now, which is great.
Yeah, that's kind of cool, the Moth thing. So then you don't really need the credit card Find My because the wallet itself is Find My.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, that is very tempting. Although I'm very happy with my wallet situation. I'm not sure I want to switch wallets.
Okay,
I like a wallet that can carry a little bit more than those Moft ones can.
Yeah, it's just 2 cards, so it depends on your needs. But that's why the Chipolo and Nomad cards are great for that.
All right, Steven, how do you charge all your stuff? You got a lot of stuff.
For someone who works from home, I have a ridiculous amount of things to charge my devices. But I'm always, I have multiple phones. Sometimes I'm testing with beta, and I'm usually charging accessories to then use in videos. And so I use a desk charger that actually has 2 retractable cables built in, which is really fun. And so this is the Anker 100-watt desk charger. It has 2 USB-C cables built in that retract, and then when you give it a little tug, it'll suck back into the charger. There's a display on the front telling you the wattage that's going out per output, which is cool. There's another USB-C port on the side to plug in a third device. And for me, what's really helpful is on the back, there's 3 full outlets. And so sometimes I'll be doing a video of an accessory or like a HomeKit thing or something that I need to plug into an outlet. And I have outlets in the room, but they're all kind of far away. And so this one, I can just plug something into a full outlet right here on my desk. And I absolutely love this thing. There's more powerful ones out there. You can get some that have like 4 or 5 USB-C ports, and it's like a 200-watt charger. But this one is the most convenient, and so it lives on my desk. And I put a little 3M strip, which is one of the sticky adhesive strips on the bottom.
Yeah.
So it stays. So when I pull the retractable USB-C cable, the whole thing doesn't move. It always stays in place.
Yeah.
My little hack.
We need like a cha-ching sound effect because this just
You're about to buy it?
It just went into my cart. Yeah.
Okay.
That is cool.
That's
Now,
awesome.
wait. So you can charge... Is it a Qi charger on top, or is it a MagSafe, or...
No, there's no Qi anything.
Okay.
So I'll charge, if I have to charge my phone or AirPods, I'll just pull the retractable cable and plug it in.
Okay. So you don't have like a stand on your desk for your phone? Huh.
I don't, because typically I charge it overnight, and we'll talk about my nightstand charger later. And I have plenty of 3-in-1 chargers I could put, but if I need to charge my phone, I just pull the retractable cable out and plug it in because it's.
Well, how are you going to get the date and time?
I have plenty. I just look at the little corner of my Mac. It's always there. It's always on the display.
I have a little desk charger because I do the opposite. Nice. At night, I actually plug into a cable and leave it in a drawer. But the
right.
But the desk charger I use is, and it's a cheap one I got off Amazon. Well, it's not that cheap. It's $50, but it's made of walnut, so I kind of like the way it looks. And looks like they made a new one since I bought mine. They have a square one now, but it does the job. It's got a good magnet in it. You stick your phone on it, it charges it over the course of the day, and then it gets me into nightstand mode on my desk. And I do like having the date and time on my phone.
So you leave it like in landscape, so it goes into standby mode.
Yeah. So it's always charging. My phone is always charged, it seems like.
Really? You don't think about like battery health or anything?
I don't worry about it.
That's right. I mean, we all upgrade every year, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, exactly. That's my wife's problem.
Oh, we'll cut that part out. No, just kidding. It's funny. You charge with the cable at night, wireless at the desk. I'm the opposite. And so at night, I use a 3-in-1 charger. I use the one from Belkin right now.
Yeah.
And it does up to 25 watt wirelessly because it has cooling built in, which is nice. And the little iPhone part actually tilts. So iPhone, Apple Watch on the back, AirPods. This is a wireless charging pad, which is also convenient if you have a Find My card or some other Qi device.
Yeah.
It'll charge down there. And the nice thing is Belkin used to have a proprietary plug on the back, but this one is USB-C. So you can just use whatever USB-C cable.
So why did you pick Belkin? Because again, there's like 5 or 6 brands making these things. What did Belkin do for you?
So I have many of them. I used the 12 South Hi-Res 3 Deluxe for a long time. I tried the Anchor Prime ones. I like this one because it's compact and has the smallest footprint.
Yeah.
Like I don't want something taking up a lot of footprint area on my nightstand because I have books on there. I have a little HomePod Mini. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. And so I want something with the smallest footprint, but still relatively fast charging. And the Belkin one is also pretty weighty.
I was going to say, looking at it, the base looks heavy, which I think is a real advantage.
It is because a lot of people, and this one, if you have your phone on there, if you try to pull your phone straight off, like it still moves a little bit, but if you just do that little bit of peel motion, it'll stay put. And that's where a lot of the cheaper 3-in-1 chargers, like ESR has good ones and Anchor has some cheaper ones, but they're very light. And so they go with your phone when you try to pick your phone up. So
another thing I like about it is the only branding is on the magnet, so you don't see it when your phone is charging. I hate these devices that put all this branding all over them.
That and also lights. There's a lot of 3-in-1 chargers that has like lights on the front.
Yeah.
And if you like it completely dark, like my wife wants it pitch black in that room, no lights. And so a lot of these 3-in-1 chargers, they glow where there's like a blinking slow light. This one doesn't have any lights. And so that's another advantage. Now, when I travel, though, I use a different 3-in-1. How do you charge stuff when you travel?
I have the Anchor 3-in-1, Anchor travel charger. It's great.
Like the foldable?
Yeah, it folds up. It's very small in your bag. It's got a USB-C power on it, and I bring a power brick with me, another Anchor device, and it's got it's got like 100 watts for my laptop. It's got 2 or 3 additional USB-C, a couple of USB-A on it, and one of those goes to the Anchor 3-in-1 travel charger, and unfold it, and off you go.
The Anchor 3-in-1 is a great one. This is, again, another brand now.
Yeah.
It's pronounced Coolsil, I promise, because I asked the brand and they sent me the phonetic spelling, but it's spelled Kuxiu, which doesn't look like Coolsil at all.
Yeah.
But this 3-in-1 is very compact.
Yeah.
It looks like a little sandwich, and then it unfolds into this kind of tallish 3-in-1 charger, and the Apple Watch pops out the back.
Yeah.
And I've used this ever since I've been traveling the last couple of years. It's Qi 2 25 watts, so relatively fast charging. And it comes with a little travel case, power brick, and USB-C cable all in the box. So you kind of have like a self-contained travel charging solution. And I like their stuff.
It's definitely smaller than mine, than the Anchor one.
Yeah.
And they come in orange.
And they come in orange, so if you want to match your orange phone, you can do that. Yeah. Yes. So I like that a lot. And I'm curious. Maybe one of the things I'm most known for on YouTube is like MagSafe power banks and such.
Yeah,
And
how'd that happen, Stephen? How did you become the battery guy on the internet?
I don't know. I mean, I just know, I love MagSafe batteries.
Yeah,
I mean, for multiple reasons. They're super convenient.
yeah,
Two, when you have people over the house, and inevitably, like if you're having a party or a get together, like somebody's phone is dying. Like
yeah,
they just need to charge their phone.
yeah,
And yes, they can leave their phone charging by a wall outlet in the kitchen or whatever, but just the magic of like, especially if people have never heard of these before, just handing someone this little brick
yeah.
and say, "Here, slap this on the back of your iPhone and it'll start charging." They're like, "What?" And then it just works. It is super fun. I don't know. I just love it. And the
Yeah.
technology is such where they're actually pretty fast now. So
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. Guest charging is always a thing, and people come to our house, they expect to be able to charge, and we've been using for years an Anchor power brick plugged in behind the couch with a bunch of cables in it. But I actually worry about it because it gets so hot, and I'm like, I'm not sure I want this thing in a couch cushion, and I've been thinking about what's a safer way to do this, and I have one of the the giant Anchor, what they call them, power banks. It's a big battery. It's got a little OLED display on it. I got it on sale on like Amazon Prime Day 2 or 3 years ago, and I use it all the time when I go on trips. I bring it. This is like a great little brick of power you can bring with you. You can run a laptop off it. You can charge your phone like 18 times, and it charges. It's got these little pins on the bottom. You just stick it on a stand. It charges super fast. I was thinking maybe the next time I can find one of these on sale, I'll get another one for our living room. And just when somebody needs a charge, I'll just hand this to them and say, okay, but keep it here. Yeah.
you could, I would suggest they make them now with retractable cables built in.
Oh, nice.
And so this one, you can hand them the thing, and there's the cable just right there. And this actually has a lanyard. This is an Anchor Prime, the 165 watt. The
Yeah.
lanyard is also a cable.
Yeah.
So you can actually
That's
plug in
crazy.
2 devices with this one giant power brick. And that's super fun.
Steven's just like, dang it. If we don't like to talk about the video because I don't want you to, this is an audio show, but Steven is like pulling batteries out of his ears right now. I'm just going to say, he just like reaches over. Oh, here's another one. Yeah.
Well, speaking of which, I got 2 more. So speaking of MagSafe batteries, I'll give you a couple other brands besides Anchor because these are actually my favorite right now. CoolSil, that makes that 3-in-1. They make a MagSafe battery, Qi 225 watt, which means it'll charge about 20 to 30-ish watts wirelessly, which is really fast.
Yeah.
It has a kickstand built in, which is nice as a
Yeah.
MagSafe battery. And this is the key. When you get a MagSafe battery, get one that has a cable also built in.
Oh, yeah.
The CoolSil has like a nice little trough around, so it tucks in. And the reason why is when I was at CES earlier this year, your phone dies at conferences, because it's
Yeah.
not on Wi-Fi or there's poor Wi-Fi. It's trying to ping cellular. You're taking Ubers, so you're getting the location all the time.
Yeah.
And charging wirelessly is okay, but it's inefficient. It
Yeah.
generates heat. You're not going to get as much battery percentage out of the MagSafe battery pack if you're charging wirelessly. So what I'll do is I'll stick it on the back of my phone, but then I'll plug in the cable. So I'm getting faster, up to 40 watt speed charging if you have an iPhone 17, which is really fast. And I'm getting the most bang for my buck when it comes to getting the power from the battery pack into my phone. And this helped me multiple days at CES. If you go to any kind of conferences, I would recommend that. CoolSil makes a great one. And Basis, which is another brand I trust, I saw them at CES, BASEUS.
Yeah.
They have a really cool MagSafe battery. It's the same kind of thing where there's a built-in cable that tucks away at the top, 45 watt wired charging, and Qi 225 watt wireless charging. Both good options.
Yeah, man, this episode's going to be expensive.
Sorry, I nerd out about this stuff because I don't know. When I travel, I'm like, I never want to not be charged.
Yeah.
And when I was at DubDub, during the keynote, I was taking photos and videos during the entire keynote. And where you sit, there's no place to plug into an outlet. So I had my big Anchor Prime battery pack with the retractable cable, and I had 2 MagSafe battery packs. And I used the CoolSil one during the keynote because as I was filming, I would try to edit the video, try to post it, and you're outside and your phone's getting hot and all that. That's the other thing. Sorry, I'm nerding out a little bit. When you're in a hot environment, either in Florida where I live or like at WWDC when the sun was hitting my phone, if you try to charge wirelessly, it might stop charging because of the heat. And you'll notice that if you ever try to charge on a car charger and it's, the sun is beating on it, it'll stop charging and your phone will say pausing charge due to heat.
Yeah.
Well, that's another reason why get a MagSafe battery pack with a cable built in. This way you can limit the heat that your iPhone is generating, and it'll hopefully charge longer.
Yeah, that's right. So these MagSafe batteries in your house, you just like keep them in a basket and pass them out like candy when people come in?
Honestly, yes. And then I try to be the cool.
Charged?
Well, my little Anchor with the retractable USB-C cables here on the desk, I'll, if I'm doing video, if I'm testing it, I'll plug it in to charge, and then the next day I throw them back. I have this basket off camera with, I don't want to show you, David. It will reveal my shame, but I have quite a number.
1, 2, 3.
Hold on, I got, I don't know,
4.
4. I mean, I got some phones over here. I got some more battery packs. So listen. But here's what it was a Palm Pre. I thought that was a MagSafe battery pack. It was a Palm Pre.
Okay.
I try to be the coolest dad. So when my kids have friends over, if they have iPhones, I'm like, hey, you guys want to go shopping?
Yeah.
And I bring them back here, and I say, take whatever you want. Take cases, take MagSafe battery packs, take it, so I give it away as much as I can.
I used to be the Johnny Appleseed of batteries when people would come over. My daughter had a friend who was leaving for a study abroad in Paris for 6 months, and he was leaving the next day. He was visiting. I'm like, you got a battery, right? He's like, no. And I'm like, I just gave him my battery. I'm like, here you go. You need this. And when he got back, he said, I use that every day. He's like, thank you so much for giving that to me.
That's the thing, and if you're going on a trip where you're going to be walking and sightseeing, you're on buses, like having a MagSafe battery in your pocket or your bag, it just puts my mind at ease. I'm like, I can get charged up. My wife keeps one in her purse. Yeah. And so when she's out and about, you're out all day, put it on the back of your phone. So anyway.
My wife has MagSafe battery religion too. She gets it. Yeah.
There you go.
All right. I teased earlier the travel router. That is like a game changer.
So you have one. You have the Unified Travel Router?
Yeah. It took me a while to get one. They're hard to get, but wow. Nice.
It is so wonderful. I mean, you can use it without a Ubiquity system. You don't need the whole backhaul just to use the router. But when you have that system, this thing is magic.
Yeah.
Because one, so small. It's like credit card, a little larger than a credit card. It's like maybe 4 credit cards thick. And you have 2 Ethernet ports, so you can plug it into the hotel Ethernet wall port, and then you can use the other one to connect your MacBook. That's what I did when we recorded Mac Power Users and I was in California.
Yeah.
I used this thing. This way I got the fastest speeds. And people will say it's only Wi-Fi 5 as far as the standard, but the hotels you're going to, the Airbnbs, like, you don't have gig speeds anyways. Like, it's fine. And the hotel I was in at DubDub, I plugged the Ethernet cable directly into my MacBook, the USB-C hub. I was getting 100 megs up and down, which is pretty good for a hotel.
Yeah.
And when I did this, I did another speed test on the Wi-Fi of the travel router, and I was getting like 98 up and down.
Yeah.
So I was losing almost no bandwidth. And if you use the teleport feature with your Ubiquity system at home, it's like a VPN. It's like Tailscale, but to access your stuff at
network.
Home. Yeah, so you could access your network attached storage. You can access your home servers, your other Macs at home, whatever you want. Love this thing.
Yeah, over the years of Mac Power Users, travel routers has been a frequent theme, and they've always been fiddly, and now they are not with this device. You just buy it and you plug it in. And if you don't have Ethernet, it's fine. It still gives you your network on the road.
Right. Exactly.
Hook up to the Wi-Fi, but now you're rebroadcasting off your network credentials, so your whole family can just log in without having to go through their portal. It's great.
That's the other thing too. If you travel with your family and kids, and they have iPads and other phones, rather than everybody trying to figure out the Wi-Fi password for the Airbnb or what, where does the hotel, you got to sign in, or if you bring an Apple TV or a streaming stick, you want to connect to the TV. This is your home Wi-Fi credentials. So everything just magically is on the Wi-Fi once you get your travel router up and running. And it's actually in stock now. You can actually buy this thing.
Yeah, it's no longer magic to get one. Since you had batteries in the list, I want to put my big battery in the list. I don't know if you've got one of these, but I live in the land of earthquakes. So I bought a Jackery battery. This is another thing. You just kind of watch them and wait for them to go on sale. But Jackery they have a variety of batteries. You can spend a lot of money on them. I got a medium-sized one. It's not enough to power my house. Probably really not enough to power my laptop for very long, but it's enough to charge all our devices and keep them going. And they also have a solar panel that plugs into it. So if the power grid went down, I could get power to the devices. And I don't know. I feel like that's just kind of like an insurance policy. I've never really needed it, but it's sitting here. I fire it up once in a while, make sure it still works, and I don't know. I think it's kind of a good thing to have.
I also have a Jackery actually
Okay.
with solar panels because I'm in a hurricane state,
Yeah.
and there were, I think, a year or two ago, power was out for a day or two, and it's nice just to be able to tell everybody you can go plug your devices into the Jackery and charge up your iPad. Or the other thing we did is we went on a camping trip a couple of years ago, brought the Jackery, and then I could plug like a projector into it,
Nice.
and we like projected a football game or whatever on the side of a camper. So you could do fun stuff like that too.
The camping purists are so mad at you right now.
Why? What happened? Oh, because the battery?
Yeah, you wouldn't watch a football game out in the woods.
Well, sure. I think it was the Super Bowl though. We actually were on a camping trip. At the Super Bowl. I mean, you got to see that. A side note: did you watch the World Cup at all? Just curious.
A little.
Okay.
I watch it more than I normally do.
Same.
But we were doing a family thing, and we ended up at a restaurant for the end of the final game. So I actually saw the end of the final game.
That was intense.
Yeah.
That was intense. Yeah. My son has gotten really into football, and so we watched a couple games, and the clock is maddening because I'm like, is the game
I
over?
don't understand it.
Does anybody know? Who knows? But anyway.
Yeah, it says 45 minutes, and then it says, well, we're going to add 6 minutes, but then they actually add 8.5 minutes, and then at some point they all stop playing and the game's over.
That's the thing. Is like, is it? Oh, who knows? Anyway,
I really don't understand it. I don't understand it.
But it was
Also, I
It was,
used to play soccer as a kid, and I just don't remember the muggings that they do now. I mean, they just knock each other over. It's kind of intense.
me and my son's into it, so we were watching. We're like, how hurt is this guy? What is happening? I don't know. I don't know.
I know. I mean, you watch a baseball game, and a guy takes a 100-mile-an-hour fastball to the middle of his back, and he just grunts, and then he walks to first base. You watch a soccer match, and the guy some of them, they don't even get hit; they just fall down. I mean, if you watch the videos, there's no other player around them; they just fall down and wave their arms around. Like, come on, guys!
Yeah, but also to run around—that's a big field to run around for 90+ minutes.
Yeah, there are no fat soccer players.
No, there's not.
Yeah. See some fat baseball players, but not that soccer players.
Speaking of fitness,
Yeah.
this is a perfect transition, actually.
All right. See how I
Tell
did
me
that?
about your fitness journey. I didn't plan that.
Yeah, there we go.
Just
No,
one thing.
I got for the last year I've worn an Apple Watch since Apple Watches showed up. I'm a big fan of the Apple Watch. I've got the Watch 10 to prove it,
Yeah.
But last year for Father's Day, my kids gave me a really nice analog watch, and it was really special to me. It's got an engraving on the back. I love it. And so I wear that sometimes, but that got me thinking about fitness tracking because I'd always just done my fitness tracking with my Apple Watch. So I went down a little bit of a journey as I started looking for them. The last Steven on the show, Stephen Hackett, says, oh, you need a Whoop, a Whoop bracelet, I think he might have had one, but that's one people use. It's very advanced. It's like the one that like triathletes wear, and it really tracks you well and everything, but it's kind of big. And their model is like you don't even own it. You pay them like $300 a year, and and then you got to pay them another. It's really quite expensive, and the hardware is not like Apple Watch standard. So I never got one of those. It just seemed to me kind of like a turnoff. But then recently, Google bought Fitbit, and they made a new thing. I think it's called Fitbit Air.
Yeah.
And it's kind of it's like when it's a fitness bracelet, but it's not as intense as Whoop, and you buy it and you own it. You don't have to subscribe. They do have an AI thing you can subscribe to, but you don't really need it. And I thought, well, that would be nice, and I'll just put that on my opposite wrist, so I'm always fitness tracking. I also kind of like the way it does the quiet wake up. I do that with the iPhone when I wear the iPhone to bed, which I wear I wear the Apple Watch to bed almost every night. And I like the way it taps my wrist so I don't wake up my wife when I want to get out of bed. And the Whoop does that too. I thought, well, that'd be nice. But then I used the Google Health app, and I did not like it.
Right.
And I discovered that it doesn't share data, Apple Health. They promise it will, but it doesn't at this point. And I'm like, you know what? This is not going to work. So I sent that one back. And so then everybody says, well, you got to get the Aura ring. They just came out with a new ring. Aura is the there's a bunch of manufacturers of these health tracking rings.
Yeah.
And so I tried one of those. The Aura 5 is out. It is a remarkable piece of technology. It's super light. It doesn't look like a tracking ring. The sensors have got good enough. You don't have to put it on your index finger, like it's a superhero power ring or something.
Green Lantern,
yeah. And so I got one and I tried it on and it worked just fine. It did the tracking. I wore it for a couple of days, but what I found is I really don't care to have another ring on. And it's good enough you could replace your wedding band with it, but I like my wedding band and it's sentimental to me. I'm not going to put a computer on my finger instead. And what I really realized in the whole process is, look, I wear the Apple Watch I guess say 80% of the time. I wear it nearly every night. And I wear it nearly every day, 2 or 3 days a week. I might put the analog watch on, depending on what I'm doing in my mood. And it's okay if I don't track those 8 hours. It's fine, So yeah. I went down a journey, tried a bunch of stuff, and none of it stuck.
And I tried the Aura Ring 4.
Yeah.
And like you, it was like just another thing to manage and charge. And the integration is not as tight as I would like. So I returned that. I was very close to trying a Whoop. But like you said, it feels like a lease program rather than like I get to buy a thing and just keep it. And so that did not, I didn't like that either. Now, my co-host Jason, he uses a Whoop because he also had some heart issues earlier this year. And, he was trying to get as much data as possible. And he was also comparing the Whoop sleep analytics versus the Apple Watch and felt like the Whoop gave him a little better picture of his sleep. But I think the Apple Watch is fine, and I will put a link to an app in the show notes because one of the things is if you wear your Apple Watch to sleep every night like I do, you get the sleep score in the morning, and there's it varies widely, and it over-indexes, I think, on your bedtime. So if your normal bedtime is like midnight, and you go to bed at 2, but you sleep in till 11 or whatever, I understand that's not good overall. Like you want to go to bed at the same time every night. But the sleep score that Apple gives you just goes down the gutter. It's like you have a 50 sleep score and you might die today. Sorry. It says stuff like that.
I got a 61 last night. Just telling you.
Oh, yeah. David, we're sleep score twins. I got a 61 too.
Yeah. You were up till 2 writing shortcuts. I woke up at 3 and answered customer support emails. So we both.
Oh, my goodness. All right. Well, I guess we got to do better sleep. But.
Yeah.
But I'll put it. This app I want to point out is totally free, and it's actually made by former Apple employees. So the team is formerly of Apple. But what it does is it's just a free app, no subscription, no in-app purchase, and it gives you just different numbers. Like the sleep score will be calculated a little differently in this app. Yeah. Your resting and active heart rate is a little different, but I really like it. Again, no in-app, no subscriptions. Nice design, former Apple employees. And so if you want a second opinion, rather than get a whole other hardware device, look at this. We're telling you don't have to buy something. Just get a free app. And I think that does
Well, what's
fine.
it called?
I knew you were going to ask me that. I was trying to figure out how to get the names back under. It's called Trackables.
Trackables. Okay.
Trackables.
All right.
And I'll put the link in the show notes too. But it's a great app, and it's you just give it access to your Apple Health data. You can go back in time and see the data from your other days and stuff. So it's really nice. Nice.
If Apple made a bracelet or a ring, would I be more inclined to get one of those?
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe
I would be.
If a bracelet was done well. I feel like the ring thing, I just did not care to have a ring on my finger. And I think if Apple makes anything, it's probably going to be a ring.
The ring is going to be a tough sell, I think. I would be more in favor of just maybe a band. Maybe, do you remember when the Nike Plus, this is before Apple Watch, had the little thing you put in your shoe?
Yeah.
Obviously can't get heart rate and stuff like that, but, for if and when Apple solves the blood pressure and maybe glucose monitoring from your wrist, there might be a bunch of people that want a wrist device that's not a watch because that information will be so valuable, but they still want to wear their physical watches. They're all physical, but you know what I mean, like analog watches.
Yeah.
Then I feel like maybe Apple will make just a band.
Yeah.
I would do
And,
that.
and the thing I just keep coming back for me personally, and I know there's folks in the audience who love their Aura rings and their Whoop bands and all that, and that's cool. But for the amount of fitness I do, the Apple Watch is good enough. And I realize when you look at the people who really test it, it's not as accurate sometimes as some of the more dedicated devices are. But it gives me the ballpark, and that's good enough for me.
Yeah, and that's the Apple Watch. I sleep with it. I track all the stuff, and the main reason I want it is I like the heart rate over time data.
Yeah.
Seeing a specific moment in time, I think is less valuable than like what is my trend
Yeah.
for resting heart rate, overall heart rate, and then just having that over time. So anyway, I'll put the link to that trackable app in the show notes too. And I want to mention a couple home things because this is like I have HomePod minis everywhere, and hopefully they'll be updated one day. But I like putting them on things that's not the counter.
Yeah.
Like we have HomePod minis like in the bathroom because we like to play music there. The kids do that. My wife does that. We also have one in the kitchen for timers. And if you don't know these exist, you should totally get these outlet wall shelves. And so you basically take your outlet plate off and you put this thing behind the plate, or it becomes the plate. And now there's a little shelf with a space to hide the cable for the HomePod mini. And now the HomePod mini is just floating up above. You plug it into one of the outlets. You still have access to the other one. And it doesn't have to take up counter space. And I love these little things. Highly recommend. Do you have any of these?
Nice.
Do you put HomePod minis anywhere, or you're not really?
I have several. I have one in the bedroom. I've got some big HomePods because I'm one of those weirdos where my original HomePods have not failed me. Everybody tells you how they all break at some point. Mine haven't, and I've got a couple of the new generation ones. But I've got a mini in the bedroom. I want to put one in the shop, but I was going to wait till they made new ones before I do that.
One day.
And I like your idea of putting one outside because I'm outside a lot, and I'm like a sacrificial HomePod outdoors. Sounds like a good idea to me, but I don't have that many of them. As my kids have been moving out, I've been thinking it'd be fun to put them in the guest bedroom and just like be part of the Hotel Sparks experience, right? Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
I
You
could,
can set an
when they need to
alarm.
wake up, I could like intercom them and just get a bell. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
I hope you slept well. It's time to wake up.
The intercom feature I think is underrated. I use the intercom all the time.
Yeah.
I do it through shortcuts too, so I could send like pre-text messages. So I don't even have to speak.
Yeah.
I can just hit a shortcut and it will send a message to all the HomePods like dinner is ready.
Yeah.
And it'll just play throughout the house.
Yeah.
They also act as doorbell chimes. But you can also do shortcuts. I just made one in my most recent video where you can have an automation run at certain times of day and it will just read your schedule out to you.
Yeah.
And so if you just want to hear what events you have for the rest of the day, you can run the shortcut and your HomePods will just speak it. And it's using the intercom action in shortcuts.
Yeah.
And David, you could have it speak the day and date every 30 minutes if you want.
But could I do it like in the voice of Christopher Walken? That's what I want to know.
That'd be pretty funny. I mean, you probably shouldn't do this, but I could probably make a shortcut that used 11 labs that generated the audio file.
I knew there was a way.
And played it. Honestly, I'm gonna make a note. I'm gonna make a note. See if I can do it. Or like Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know, but I know I shouldn't train it on real people's voices, so I won't do that. Just so everybody
or
knows.
Yoda.
Yeah.
Syntax.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yoda. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also with home stuff, I recently upgraded a bunch of stuff in my home theater. I got the LG G5 OLED, which I love. I also I'm a big home theater guy.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to share the receiver I got. This is the Denon. It says 8K, but I mean, I don't have any 8K stuff. But it does 4K up to 120, which my kids and their video games appreciate.
Yeah.
And it's been great. And I control it over the network because it connects that way. And I'll get to that in a second too, what I use for my remote. But and it has like 8 inputs. And I use them all, from the Apple TV to the video game systems to still have an old Blu-ray hooked up for the one time every other year we use that. And just really like my receiver. Do you have a receiver? Do you do that kind of stuff?
Years ago, all the listeners were telling me how to get Sonos, and I finally got a set of Sonos, and When I did that, I got one of their bars and one of their subwoofers, and I mean, this has got to be like over 10 years old now, but it just works great. And that, so I have that, but I don't have anything fancy on my system.
Sonos is great, and I have them in 2 rooms. Was the Arc and the Sub Gen 3, and then the Sonos, the middle range one with the Sub Mini, and they're all great. But I like having a theater.
I'm going to tell you my shame. You know, when you got here, we had to get you to get on a backup system.
Yeah.
I don't have a 4K TV in my living room. I have a 10.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
I don't have it.
What?
We bought it a long time ago. It works
David,
great.
you would have to buy that like in another millennium for it not to be 4K.
It's not 4K, man. It's not 4K.
When did you buy this
TV?
TV?
When I turn on the Apple TV, it says 1080. You know, it's like, oh man, I keep forgetting this TV is old. What?
Is it a plasma?
No, it's an LCD.
But it's not 4K.
It's not 4K.
David, I need you to have your robot assistant look for that receipt or something, because I'm very curious. I don't even know how long ago you would have to be to not get a 4K TV.
It's been a while. And then occasionally I tell my wife, hey, you want to buy a new TV? And she's like, oh, we don't need another TV. It's fine. And to tell you the truth, I don't watch much TV, so
sure,
it's fine. Yeah.
Well, my kids get to enjoy the TV more than I do with their playing, but the few times in a month where we get to sit down and watch a movie, I like having a nice TV for it.
Yeah. When I watch a movie, usually I watch it in my Vision Pro. And then the TV in indoor studios in my studio is a 4K. But the actual family TV where we all sit on the couch, it's really old. Yeah.
I'm shocked and appalled.
Yeah. I thought that would cause trouble in our friendship, but I think we're stable enough we can get past this.
I think we'll get past it, and I'll share an accessory that'll work even with your ancient television and Apple TV.
Yeah.
I got this ridiculous thing because the Apple TV remote has location, but you can't get the precision Find My arrow to point to where your remote is, and more importantly, you can't have the Apple TV remote make a sound.
Yeah.
So if you lose it in the sofa, it won't ping. And so I have this ridiculous silicone case that I put on my Apple TV remote that has a place for an AirTag. And so I have an Apple TV remote case. It makes it more ergonomic.
Yeah.
And there's an AirTag inside, so if I ever need to ping the remote, I can do that.
That's a nice design. I had a different one because my kids are animals, and they have a game where every time they use the Apple TV remote, they put it somewhere else.
Nice.
And the one I had it like a wart on the back where you put the AirTag in it. It would occasionally fall out, and I got so frustrated with that I got rid of the case. But yours actually puts it inside.
That's right. It never falls out.
Much better design.
Yeah. And the last thing I'll say in home, because I recently got this, I was a Logitech Harmony aficionado and used it for a long
you're one
time.
of those guys. I know.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys.
Yeah, right.
And so I found something that kind of replaces it. The Sofa Baton are these new universal. I know.
The name is funny.
The name is funny. It is you can get one that's just a remote, but you want to get the hub because then you can control all the devices. It can control devices over IR, Bluetooth, or the network.
Yeah.
And so this controls everything in my home theater. And if you get the fancy one, the X2, it also works with Home Assistant if you're into that, which I'm not, but it works with that. And it has an API with webhooks. So
nice.
if you wanted to run shortcuts that run your activities for your Sofa Baton, you could do that too.
Have you done that? Have you hooked it all up?
I have, but I actually like just using the remote by itself. And when you have as many devices connected to my receiver as I do, a lot of times the HDMI CEC would fight.
Yeah.
And so my kids would turn on their PlayStation, the receiver turns on, the TV turns on, it switches input, but then the Apple TV might get some signal and be like, "Oh, you want to watch me?" And then everything will switch. And my friend, my kids are playing Rocket League, and they're like, "I was just about to score, and now it's ruined." So I was like, "All right." I turned off CEC, HDMI control on all of the devices, and I just used the Sofa Baton remote, and it's actually pretty great. So
So ours is so simple. I can use the Apple TV remote to turns the TV off and on. It controls the volume on the TV. I think that's the CEC. Is that what?
Yes. Yeah. It controls all of it.
Occasionally it stops doing the volume, and I just do it again, and it starts up. And the rare occasion that we like hook up the Nintendo Switch or whatever, I'll just find the TV remote and hit the input button. But our system is much simpler. But I'm glad that those super remotes still exist, though, because I know people that like that really dig it, and I know there's a lot of people in our audience that have done amazing things with those Harmony remotes over the years.
Yeah, and if you have questions about home theater, hit me up in the forums because I will nerd out as much as you would like.
Yeah.
I have the Kaleidoscape, the ridiculous high-quality movie box, and I did a whole video on that. Do you know about
What is
that, David?
that? I've never even heard of it.
David, I'm afraid to tell you about this, honestly. So the Kaleidoscape, it is the supposed answer for high-quality video and audio digitally, but not having to deal with physical media.
Okay.
And so it is this box that you have to buy your movies again. Like you can't just bring your Apple TV movies over there or whatever. So you have to buy a movie again.
Okay.
And it downloads the whole file that's like 50 gigabytes, like what it would be for a Blu-ray, sometimes even more. Like Interstellar is close to 100 gigabytes.
Yeah.
Downloads the whole movie file onto the box. And then when you play it, it's not streaming. It's just locally playing from the box. So no artifact or very little artifacting, little to no compression on the audio. I need you to guess how much this little box is. Just take a
I bet
wild
it's a lot of money.
And I got the cheap one because you can get a little box, but it only stores like 4 movies.
Okay.
So when you
gotta like say, okay, you're gonna watch a movie. Let's schedule it for Wednesday. You know.
Well, it's about 15 minutes on my 5 gigabit speeds, but you have to offload a movie and then download the new one.
Yeah.
Just take a wild guess. Take a wild guess.
$1,000.
3 times that, and you got it. It's stupid. And if you want to get the server where you can store
I bet it
up
would
to
look
like
great on my 1080 TV.
it wouldn't even connect. It would just the cable would just pop out and say, "No, we're not doing that." You can also buy a server that works with the Kaleidoscape box.
Yeah.
That's like 8 terabytes, so you can store lots of movies, and that thing is like 15 grand. Like it's
that's
insane.
what the movie stars have, right? They got that in their house.
Yeah. So I will. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. But I'll put a link in the show notes just so you can see my insanity. And I also did a whole video that kind of blew up about it. But that's the Kaleidoscape. It's an insane. Like
how much better is it though? I mean, seriously, like when you download, can you tell a big difference?
No, and that's the bottom line. Is like you could tell a difference. Like I watched Dune. Yeah. And when there's lots of sand flying everywhere, a streaming service, even like I was comparing it to Apple TV, the latest box, bought the movie directly from Apple. Yeah. Those moments when there's a lot of artifacts on screen, you'll see like the artifacting is what I meant to say. Yeah. And the Kaleidoscape has less. The sound sounded a little better. If I did a blind test, like I walk into the room, I don't know what box is playing, I look at the screen and try to say, is it Apple TV or Kaleidoscape? I doubt I would be able to tell.
Wow.
And so if someone really cares about the quality, I would say buy the 4K Blu-ray and just use the discs because it's going to be equivalent to the Kaleidoscape and way cheaper.
Yeah.
And you don't have to like download and delete movies when you don't need. But yeah, that's also connected to my receiver.
Nice. Yeah.
Don't buy it. Don't buy it, everybody. Dave, let's do a lightning round. Let's just go back and forth. I want to show you some weird MagSafe accessories I have, and then you can show me stuff. I'm gonna show you one real quick. It is a ring, but this is it is a MagSafe ring that is a sticker on the back. And so, if there's ever a place where you want to be able to just put your phone and stick it to a wall or anywhere, you can buy like packs of 3 of these stickers. If you out in your dorm room or your kid's dorm, they have bunk beds or whatever, and they want to be able to just put their phone, and so they can lay back and watch it. You can get these little stickers, and they're MagSafe.
Like that's actually
that was pretty cool.
Yeah, do you use them anywhere?
I do. Sometimes I will listen to podcasts in the shower.
Yeah.
And so I will just bring my iPhone in there, stick it on the MagSafe ring, and it's just right there next to my ear.
Yeah, and it's strong enough you don't worry about it falling off.
I was worried at first. But now, no, it's never fallen off. It's a strong enough magnet, and so MagSafe stickers.
Kind of like
pretty
that.
Fun. All right, what do you got?
One of my favorites is like a $10 Amazon purchase. It's a little rubber strap that has two silicone ends, and you can stick an AirPod in the little silicone hole. So when you get on an airplane, because I like to use my AirPods Pro on airplanes, but I've always realized that if I drop one AirPod on an airplane, I will never get it back. I just feel like that's just gone. So I was worried about it. But this is this little rubber strap. It goes around your neck. You put it on either side. It has a magnet so they can snap together in the middle to make a little bit of a necklace, as you would. But then, when you want to listen to it, you pull it apart, stick them in your ears, and if one falls off, it's lanyarded to the other one. And it's a really great purchase. I've bought them for a bunch of people in my family, and you don't use them every day. But when you go on a place where you're worried about losing an AirPod, use it.
That's for the airplane is genius too, because I don't want my AirPod touching the floor either.
Exactly. It's like, even if you could find it, you're like, well, I'm never going to put that in my ear again. Yeah.
It's dead to me. It's dead to me. That's very cool. Well, this is a MagSafe accessory I just got. This is from Ugreen. And what this is, it is a wireless HDMI receiver and transmitter. And so you can plug one end, so it sticks MagSafe onto the back of your phone.
Yeah.
And then you plug the USB-C cable into the bottom.
Okay.
And then the other puck has an HDMI port and a USB-C, and you can connect this to a TV in your hotel room, conference room TV.
Yeah.
And now whatever device the transmitter is connected to, it will display on whatever HDMI display you have. And I shared this on social media. A lot of people were like, well, just get an Apple TV. Like, sure, but there are times when you want to not just AirPlay something, but maybe you have your MacBook and you want to be able to transmit, for a keynote presentation or in a conference room.
Yep.
You can have the receiver connected to the TV, whether it has an Apple TV or not. Then everybody could pass around the transmitter. Everybody can have their device go up on the screen as you want. You can just live in the conference room. If you travel to hotels, you can now just plug it into your iPad, plug the receiver into the TV, and then if you want to watch something, you could just send it that way rather than bring an Apple TV to the hotel room to AirPlay.
I feel like that's much easier than wrangling an Apple TV. Apple TV is not that difficult, but this is really easy.
Yeah, so I thought it was pretty cool. It's like $80, but if you have a conference room or commercial type use case, or you travel a lot, like I'm gonna bring this when I travel for sure, because I usually bring like a Google Chromecast or whatever, just because the Apple TV feels a little chunky and the cables, you got to bring an HDMI cable separately. This one, all compact in there. I thought it was pretty cool.
I did that for years, where I'd bring the HDMI cable and adapters and everything on trips, and I just never used them. When I get on a trip, and at the end of the day, I just don't feel like, plugging into the room TV. If there's something I really want to watch, I'll watch it on my iPad or my Mac or my phone. And so I've just kind of gotten over that. But if you were speaking or like presenting a lot, I think this thing would be perfect.
Yeah, there's a lot of times, like when I speak at Podcast Movement, the HDMI cable's like in the lectern. Yeah. But if I want to walk away, I don't have a clicker. You could do a clicker.
Oh, yeah.
But you could also
I rock a clicker.
I would rock a clicker. But you can also just use Keynote on your iPhone and walk with your iPhone and control the slides from there and be projecting it on the secondary display. So
the clicker, the move with the clickers was green laser over red, more visible. And you want to get one where you can turn off, you can make the screen go black. Old trial lawyer trick. If you want the jury to look at you, turn off the screen.
That's good.
The serenity moment. That's what I would call it.
Pretty good.
A reject on my reject pile. Well, I guess I should save this for later.
Yeah, save the reject. Save the reject.
Yeah, I'm going to save this reject. But I tried something, didn't work for me.
Well, I'll give you one more MagSafe one, then you can tell me your AI escapades device, failed AI devices. Because I have a little show and tell too.
Yeah.
This is another just silly MagSafe accessory, but you can actually get mini backpacks for your phone.
Yeah.
It's a mini backpack. MagSafe backpack that you stick to the back of your phone. And I got it just to be funny and like make a reel out of it. Yeah. But now I gave one to my son. We just actually bought my 14-year-old son. It was his birthday last week. He got his first iPhone.
All right.
So his first iPhone 17. And so I had all these little accessories around, and I was like, you want these backpacks? He was like, sure, why not? He's like, oh, I can put my AirPods in here and, whatever. And so you get a little backpack, and it actually acts as a grip too, like for your phone. So MagSafe backpack, they exist.
Yeah, that's the thing.
There you go. That's the thing. So tell me, you have Plod in your notes. I want to hear about it because I have Plod too.
I've been looking at the AI accessory devices, and none of them really appeal to me. But in the Robot Assistant Field Guide, a couple people were talking about these Plod devices because, one of the real magic of AI is transcripts now. You give it transcripts and it does work for you. Like when we finish recording the show, I will give it the transcript and it'll help me find the links and, things like that. But Plod is like a credit card size device, kind of the size of like one of those Chipolo cards. It's the thickness of 2 or 3 of them. It's got a single button on it and it just records. And they've got an app, so it uploads the recording. And it's not a music recorder; it's a voice recorder. But the whole selling point is you run this thing, and it gives you a transcript of anything. So like you can set it on the table and have a call on speakerphone, or you can, there's all these different things you can do with it. And like if I was a practicing lawyer, I think I would have really dug it because you sit down in a client meeting, you just sit it on the table, push the button, you got the recording and the transcript, very quickly. But I bought one because everyone was talking about it, and it just for my life now, I don't need it. I don't do enough meetings. I'm not fancy enough to need this thing. There's other ways I get transcripts, and I don't need it. The phone is such a good device for that now. Even just using the voice recorder or the voice memos app, you can get a pretty good transcript now, so you don't need an extra device. But it's MagSafe. It attaches to the back of the phone, and people that do a lot of fancy meetings really love them. And the AI component is the transcript farming, and it looks for memos and does all that stuff for you. And I really don't have any complaints about it. If that's your thing, I think it was really good for that. They also make one that hangs around your neck if you want to like life lock or whatever. But Steven's holding one up. He's got one of those. But I don't think I need something like that. But it was interesting to experiment with, and it's an interesting bit of technology when you see how far it's come in the last few years.
So they actually sponsored a video of mine a long time ago, and they sent me the necklace and the card.
Yeah.
And I didn't find myself using the card very much, but I kept the necklace around because there's been a few times where I was going to have meetings and wanted to have that transcript, and having the dedicated device just around my neck, being able to tap it, 8-hour battery life, so I didn't have to worry about my phone dying. It is nice to have. And the other use case, I think I've talked about it on a past episode, and it sounds creepy at first, but hear me out. If you do anything to preserve memories with your family, with your kids, with your older relatives, I really enjoy taking voice memos on my iPhone during just conversation around Thanksgiving. If some, grandpa's telling a story, just record that in the voice memo. And there are many that I have of my kids. Like I have my 3-year-old son, when he was 3 years old at the time, reading Dr. Seuss. I have that voice memo, and it's wonderful. And it would have been different if I recorded video and I was holding my phone, but it's just different. And so I like the necklace. There's been a couple times where I've used it to just capture those family moments. It's private. It's just for me and my wife and my family or whatever. But capturing those voice memos, it's different. It's poignant and different than having videos of some of those events. And so sometimes a little device like this can come in handy for that. Yeah. That's all.
So I don't really consider my experiment with that a failure. It wasn't really for me. And, there's a subscription plan and all this stuff starts to add up. And I realized that this would get parked in a drawer and I'd never use it. So I sent it back.
And mine's parked in the drawer largely, and I think you don't have to pay for the subscription if you're like under a certain amount of transcription per month. And so that's because I rarely use it. I don't have to pay for it. But if you're doing meetings and stuff, maybe it might be a different story. Yeah. But couple failed AI experiments. I don't know if I've ever talked about this on this show, but if you follow my work, I have all the failed AI gadgets from the past several years. I have the Humane AI pin in the egg, which is very silly. I have the Rabbit R1, which is another failed AI gadget that didn't do anything. And I don't know. I guess I keep them all just as like a museum.
Bragging rights.
Yeah. Bought that thing. Well, I don't know bragging rights. Humane AI pin was stupidly expensive. But the Meta AI glasses that I had recently, I wore them, I think, on the last episode. Yeah. I returned those.
Okay.
I didn't care to wear them very often, and privacy and security is a thing.
Yeah, that's a real concern with me with those Meta products. Yeah.
It's a real concern, and I said in my video, I'll put it in the show notes. I wore them grocery shopping because I felt like the most benign. I'm like, I'm just walking down aisles, not a ton of
Yeah.
people in the middle of the week. But when I had to use a restroom, I felt very awkward, and I
Yeah.
was like, anytime I wear these in public, that's always going to be a question of like, do I put the glasses in my pocket if I have to go to the bathroom? Like, so there was just like so many questions about having the camera just on my face and the cultural implications. It's kind of being more widely known about the tampering with the light some people are trying to do. So I was just like, forget it. And so I returned them. We'll see if Apple makes any kind of AirPod with sight, even if it's not capturing photos and videos, that it'll somehow see the world around you. But they're gone. I returned them.
Yeah, I think it's something we all need to figure out once that becomes a thing. But there's a bigger question there about just AI gadgets, and I'm not sure how useful they are, and if they ever will. I guess I shouldn't say that. I'm sure they'll be useful at some point, but it's like the AI stuff off the phone is functional. Why do we need a dedicated extra thing to charge and sync and carry beyond that? And like when I hear about how, Johnny Ive is cooking up all this great stuff for OpenAI, now he's working over there. I'm like, what are they really going to make that I couldn't do with AI on a phone?
And that's the thing is all the things these AI gadgets can do, your iPhone can do better in many instances. Like for the audio recording,
Yeah,
I would listen back at the audio recordings from this Plod necklace.
yeah,
They were bad. Like
yeah.
they
Yeah,
were good enough to get a transcript.
That's why I said earlier, it's just for voice, not for music. Yeah,
Right. Well, and even for voice, like the voice memos I've recorded with my iPhone sound so much better.
Yeah.
And if you're doing it for memory purposes with your family, you want it to sound good.
yeah,
With ChatGPT, there was the rumor that they're working on basically a wireless HomePod
yeah,
that you'll be able to carry around with you and talk to ChatGPT. It's like, you know what else talks to ChatGPT? My iPhone.
yeah.
I can open the
It's already in
ChatGPT
your
app,
pocket.
and Siri AI is going to be a thing. All the visual, like Meta glasses, it can see the world around you. Well,
Yeah.
guess what? Siri AI can do that too. I can just open visual intelligence, ask it about the world around me. So all these companies are trying to get you away from the iPhone. This way they don't have to be beholden to the App Store
Yeah.
and like service fees from Apple. But I don't see it working unless somehow the dedicated device is so much better than the iPhone at something. And I don't know what that can be
Yeah.
because we've not gotten there yet.
I mean, to displace the mobile phone, not just the iPhone, just the mobile phone in general, I think, I don't think that's going to be an easy lift. Even if, let's say, the glasses that, that you can wear around get so good and, it goes full, sci-fi and you've got screens on your face and everything. I think a lot of us would just still rather have something in our pocket and not have those screens in our face all the time. I think it's going to be a real challenge to replace a phone.
Yeah, and I've tried some of the AR glasses like at CES from
Yeah.
Even Realities and Mimo Mind, and they're advertising like no camera. Like that's the advertising
Yeah.
line. Like it doesn't have a camera, and it's like, well, but that's what makes it useful.
Yeah.
Like you can do teleprompter in the glasses and translation, but that's about it. Again, your phone can do the translation, maybe the teleprompter, but I did a video with the glasses on, and it's like I have to be. It looks like I'm staring at the ceiling
Yeah,
to
yeah.
read the teleprompter, and
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not going to go well in a speech or whatever.
Yeah.
So we're not there. We're not there yet. But tell me about something analog-ish, maybe that you have in our final.
I have a lot of analog stuff. We could open a real can of worms, Stephen. I mean, the other day we were talking, and I wrote down something on one of my field notes, and you just like went, "What did you just do?"
True,
And,
that is
and
true.
I have note cards. I have lots of analog toys around me that I use. I don't want to really. I think that's another show, honestly.
Well,
But
maybe
one
not
thing
analog,
I did
but,
buy,
yeah, yeah.
kind of a non-Apple gadget recently that I've been enjoying is the terminal.
Yeah.
TRML. They have a large one now. I think it's called XL, but I'll
Mm-hmm.
confirm that. So it's just this cool little thing, and like it gets the weather. It has little widgets in it, and it just kind of puts them on an e-ink screen, and you charge it like once every 3 months. And it's kind of nice, like, kind of a status board like thing. Like I had a countdown for our vacation on it. I've got my upcoming events. I do not having it telling me the time and date. It would be good at the time. It'd be good at the date. It'd be terrible at the time because it only updates like every couple minutes. But I don't know. I just kind of like this. I had the smaller one, and then they came out the bigger one. What I'm going to end up doing, I think, is hanging it in the kitchen, and it'll be kind of like for the family, a little thing where we can just kind of see what's going on. But it's the new version is a big improvement, and like one of the things they did in the new version is they put magnets in the back, so if you have a refrigerator, you can just stick it to the refrigerator. But sadly, my refrigerator has a convex shape, so it's not flat, so it doesn't really work. But yeah, it's kind of a nice piece of technology, and it's very kind of low effort.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, TRMNL. The X is the big one, and those are very cool. And it's open source. You can plug it to different sources that you want displayed for data. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Well, I'll just share one last thing. I have it's an analog device, but it sits here in my studio because it's what I use to unbox everything or whenever I need a knife.
Yeah.
And this is the Grove-made task knife. And it is one of these objects it's just beautiful. It's a simple knife. I use it for unboxing. I'll put it in the show notes. It's from grovemade.com if you're familiar. And I love it so much. I had one for a long time. I lost it somehow. I think my kids probably borrowed it or something. And it's somewhere in the house, but I just lost it. And it was one of those things where I liked it so much that I bought it again, a second time, because it's very weighty. It feels nice in the hand. I don't know, it just feels like a nice machined piece of metal. And the task knife from Grove-made.
If we're going to show knives, I got to show mine.
Oh, okay, hold on. This is the Leatherman, right?
Yeah, I am a Leatherman guy.
You got to cover your eyes. That's the Sony focus. There you go. Now you're a YouTuber.
Oh, there we go. So I love Leatherman. I was a Swiss Army knife guy for the first half of my life. Second half, I switched to Leatherman. I switched allegiances. I got the Leatherman Arc, and it says "Go Max Sparky" on the side. I got them lasered in. It's so awesome, and like I can't tell you the number of times I use this, and people expect me to have it. The doorknob is loose. I just pull out my Leatherman and fix it. Whatever it is. I just did that yesterday. But it's got pliers. It's got a good knife. It's got scissors, and it's on me constantly. And
really? And this is the Arc?
Yeah, it's the fancy one when they came out with that a couple of years ago.
This is that is fancy.
Yeah, and
so you carry with you all the time?
All the time. It's always in my pocket, except when I travel or go to Disneyland.
Okay, yeah. Okay, my dad was a Swiss Army knife guy. He always had one of the Swiss Army knives in his pocket, but I don't know. Maybe I'll try a Leatherman. I've never had one.
Leatherman is so nice, and like the pliers, because it has really good pliers, and you'd be surprised how often you need pliers. Just the other day, I bought a new card for my Sony camera, and I bought the Sony one because I wanted to get the branded one, and I stuck it in my camera, shot a bunch of video. I was like, okay, now I'm gonna edit this video. Pulled it out, jammed it into my power brick here, and it went in, and it felt weird when it went in.
It's not good.
And I'm like, oh, that's not right. And it didn't click in. I'm like, what's going on? And I didn't realize that there's a CF Express A card. So I bought the wrong card, but because it worked on my camera, I didn't notice it. And I jammed it into an SD card slot. But Leatherman to the rescue, pulled out the pliers, had it out. And then I had to order a CF Express card reader. But it is a lot faster, by the way.
Sure.
We'll talk about that on our bonus episode. But but yeah, I just find so much use for it, and it's funny because the people around me always know I have it, and they have like, hey, what's going on here? And I pull out my toolkit in my pocket, and usually I can get something going.
That's pretty great. Well, I'm gonna sneak in one last one because
I did so you get it.
You might have bought some stuff during this episode, which means you're going to have some cardboard boxes to deal with. This is what I got recently. I finally got one of these. It's like a electric box cutter.
Yeah.
And so it's just like a blade with a little trigger, and it's to cut the cardboard boxes so they don't take up so much space, and then you put them in the recycling bin. It charges via USB-C. You can use the proprietary charger, but you can also just charge it via USB-C, which is nice. And I use it to cut up my cardboard boxes.
My wife bought me one of those last year, and it's like a skill saw for cardboard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It is so enjoyable. My daughter just
It is.
moved and she got like a new TV and she had a bunch of boxes. We're helping her move in. And she's like, I don't know what to do with all these boxes. I'm like, I'll take them home. I got it. I got it.
It is very satisfying.
I spent an
Did you
hour out there just grinding these boxes into smaller and smaller pieces. I was so satisfied.
It is super fun. Did you get your daughter a 1080p television, or do they not have
And she
any
bought
of
her
those?
own. So
Oh, it's
I'm sure it's good. I'm sure it's better than my TV.
amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, in fact, I do know because I broke the box down. It is definitely 4K.
Oh, that's right. It's probably a big 4K on the front. That's it. That's it. All right. Well, let's go to more power users. I want to know what didn't make your list. What is rejected?
All right, and thanks to our sponsors this week, Ecamm, Decagon, and Squarespace. We're the Mac Power users. You can find us at relay.fm/MPU. Now, if you want to become a more power user supporter, you get the ad-free extended version of the show. Go there. You can do that as well. Today, Steve and I are going to have fun talking about things that we're not allowed to try anymore. And we're also doing a really good job of getting those bonus episodes. I think this will be our fifth or fourth that we record tomorrow.
Fifth, counting the app draft.
And they're really fun. The one we're recording tomorrow is going to be all about our production gear stuff you never talk about on the podcast because nobody likes to talk about podcasters talking about podcasting. But we're going to do that, and we're going to get super nerdy. So that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that one. Come join, gang, and we'll see you next time.